Hello everyone and welcome back to Empkin Gardening. Today we're going to continue our front flower bed. We actually call this space our weeping cherry bed because we have our weeping cherry here. So our weeping cherry blooms early spring and then it's out of bloom for the rest of the season, which is totally fine. We love having early spring, late spring, early summer, midsummer, late summer, fall blooms throughout the season. It's really great to have a lot of variety of that sort in your garden. So here we are. This is at the very tail end of that 25-foot long skinny flower bed that we did a previous video on. As you can see, the volunteer sunflowers have absolutely exploded. We're pretty sure these are the mammoth ones. There's buds everywhere on them, so it should be pretty epic. But I wanted to just quickly walk you through what is already existing in our weeping cherry bed so you can become familiarized with it. Alright, so right in front of us is a perennial salvia from Proven Winners. You can tell that this first round of blooms are spent, so this is a good indicator that it's time to cut this back so that the second flush can occur. So we will be doing that very soon. In this bed also we have two At Last roses from Proven Winners. And what's great about these roses, you can't really tell right now because all of their blooms are spent, but you don't have to deadhead this rose at all. So these will actually die off and fall, and then new blooms will replace it. And we'll throw a picture up on the screen of what they look like when they're in bloom, so you can see. Oh look, a weed.
Oh, I missed it.
Okay. So this is our absolute favorite rose. It doesn't need to be deadheaded. It's really hardy and it blooms proficiently throughout the summer. We absolutely love it. We're actually looking to get another one to put in the corner. So we have a triad going of At Last roses. So we have our weeping cherry in the center. It's our center structure, and then we have these other roses going to be the triad, and we have the salvia. The one last rose is right back here. Again, this rose is just out of bloom, but we can throw a picture of what it looked like before. Oh, hello. This rose is actually very sentimental to us because one of my years teaching, I think it was the school year 2016-2017, a student gave me as a graduation present one of those little mini roses that you get from like Big Y or something. And it traveled with us to 3 locations, 3 different living locations, and we just would carry it with us, and it survived each move, it survived each transplant. It was amazing. So when we bought the house, we're like, you're going in the ground. And it's done so well, and we're so happy. It's one of our favorite things ever. It was a Big Y rose. It's doing great. Okay, so that's what's already established in this bed. This bed also had a bunch of color blends tulips in it in the early spring. I will put a picture up and the name of it. I think it was Diamond something of the tulips. They were doubles, all in this bed, but I'll put a picture and the name up right here. So we had super early color with those tulips and the weeping cherry. Now I'd like to show you what we're going to plant. We're going to be planting a few perennials and a few annuals in this space. Okay, so we're going to start with the annuals. So we have 3 fiber optic grasses. These little guys do not get much bigger than this. They get about a little over a foot mounding and trailing over. They're super cute, but they have this like optical illusion to them because they have their little seed heads at the very end of their little grass, and they're just so cute. So we're going to be putting this up at the front of the border of the bed right here in front of the roses, front of the Atlas rose. And our other annual that we have is one of our favorites. It might be Ryan's favorite. This is the Rockin Playin the Blues Salvia from Proven Winners. And pollinators love it. This thing is a beast, and it gets really big. I mean, ours is probably 3 feet, 3 by 3. This one little flower, we tuck it back here, and it takes up this entire space back here. And there's just tons of these little blooms that shoot out. And what's another really great thing about this is once the blooms are done, the calyx also look like flowers. So it still provides interest to the plant. So you can see, like, on this side you have the bloom still, but on this side the calyx is just left. And even just the calyx by itself, it still looks very beautiful and has a lot of interest for the flower. So with both of these annuals, they are part sun to full sun. In fact, everything that we're planting is part sun to full sun except for the yarrow, which is full sun. But that's okay because this is a full sun location, so everything's going to be happy. So moving on to our perennials, our main perennial that we're planting is a Monet Weigela. And what we like about this Weigela is that it has a lot of different types of variegation happening. So it has the white variegation on the outside of the leaves, and then they actually have pink. They're like dipped in pink, and it is very, very interesting to look at. Plus these have pinkish purple blooms in the spring, in the very early spring. So again, it's going to provide the bloom, which is going to be beautiful, but we actually love this for the foliage that it gives you all season long. This nice variegation with the pink. This is going to get 3 by 3. It's going to be tucked in right behind me. It's going to take up that spot. And again, it's part sun to full sun, so it's going to like it. Even with these sunflowers here, I think it's going to be okay because it'll get plenty of sun coming that way. I hear bees around me. All right, so then we have 3 phlox. These are the opening Act Pink-a-Dot from Proven Winners. Ryan picked these out. Actually, Ryan picked out all of these, except for the yarrow. I love yarrow. Okay, so the phlox, it's going to get 3 feet wide by a little over 2 feet tall. It's pretty much there already with the height. But they have these really delicate white blooms with like pink centers. It almost looks like hand painted. So this is a perennial phlox, so it's going to come back every year, and we're going to be tucking this in like a drift behind the salvia over here. Phlox always has like that really nice smell, and this is an improved version. Proven Winners was able to do like an improved version of it, less susceptible to powdery mildew, which phlox tend to get. So I'm looking forward to having a stronger plant with all of these beautiful blooms. And these will bloom throughout the season, which is very exciting. And then our very last perennial is the yarrow. And this is not a Proven Winners. This is the Desert Eve Terracotta Yarrow. And it's just going out of bloom on some of them. But they start out these yellow, and then it turns to, again, it has like really super interesting like orange. Here's a picture. I'll pop a picture of it on the screen as well. So with these spent blooms, you can actually just cut them, and depending on how spent they are, you can either use them for arrangements, like maybe not the brown ones, but these white, after it's faded completely from the yellow to the orange, fades to the cream and then the white. Like, you can still use those for arrangements, I think. It has really nice tall stems, so they're really great to cut and then just put in the flower arrangements that you're making. And I like this one because it gives you that range of colors. So with the yellows, with the orange, with the cream. I like that variety that it gives. I also really like the foliage leaves, the ferny type foliage leaves. They're really soft and fun to play with. And yarrow is native in our area, so we find yarrow like everywhere as a weed that we just keep up because it's yarrow. And it's beautiful. Okay, so how we're going to plant. How are we going to plant? We're going to plant it with an auger because we don't like breaking our backs when we plant. So we're going to use our auger. We will link the auger that we use down below in the description box if you want to check it out and also not break your back while you plant, because we suggest doing that. We're going to make bigger holes for our bigger perennials, which is super easy. I'll show you. You just do the auger in a wider circle and it makes a bigger hole. So we're going to plant them. We're going to put our biotone starter fertilizer in it. We're going to put some fresh soil on top and then water it in. But we will show you where we're placing everything first. Okay, so in true Emkin fashion, our plan adjusted mid-placement. Because again, my wonderful husband has a really great eye for flowers and arranging. So, come on in. We added some things and we moved some things. So we have our fiber optic grass right up front, right with the border. That way it has that space to mound over. We have our Monet Weigela. We ended up adding a Phoenix Violet Penstemon, and you can see the honeybees are already in the area checking out everything. So we actually added 3 of these, and we'll show you the other places. So we have the Penstemon. We added the Rockin Plain Blue Salvia right here. There are more of these though. We did our drift of phlox, which is really pretty because you can see it peeking through the weeping cherry branches. We have our yarrow right in front. And go past the dog gate. Let's be safe. We have our other Penstemon right here. And this is going to get about 1.5 feet tall. So it's going to be great in front of the phlox. And it's going to be amazing for butterflies and hummingbirds. Just because of the nice throat that they can drink all the good stuff. So we have another Penstemon right here and right there, flanking the yarrow. And then we added one more. Instead of an at last rose, we're going to just put a Rockin Blue Salvia, and this thing is going to take up this entire area. Yes, so it's going to be pretty full, which will be really nice. We're going to be very careful about the bulbs that were in this bed. We did cut them right at the stalk, so we'll be able to see where they were, but we'll still be mindful of it. Okay, so we're going to use our auger, biotone, plant, fresh soil on top, water it in. everyone. So that was a perfect example of how, you know, things when you're planning a flower bed, how they adapt and you adjust things. It's wonderful having plants to pull from, you know, to fill in spots, make the flower bed nice and full while also allowing enough space for the plants to get to their full potential. We're really excited about having both annuals and perennials in this bed, and offering bloom times from early spring all the way until fall. That's really important to us to kind of have that interest throughout the season. If you enjoyed this video or you wanted to try out some of these plants, just give us a comment and a like. We're going to link the auger down below in case you're interested in using that as a form of planting. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's really the best way to keep up with all of the projects that we're doing, and we love making content for you guys. So we hope to see you in the next one, and I hope you're having a great week. Bye!